warship in your vicinity, keep a distance more than 10 miles from them, because I'm ready to open fire on them.
Full details now emerged on how Iran compelled US warships to withdraw from the Strait of Hormuz during a tense maritime standoff. Did a strong warning from Iran's leadership play a decisive role in forcing Washington to pull back its naval presence? Reports suggest that Iran had locked more than a dozen cruise missiles onto US destroyers, raising the stakes dramatically. Was the US attempt to push through the Strait of Hormuz timed to influence the balance during ongoing talks in Islamabad? Amid claims that American vessels were only minutes away from being struck, high-risk move by Washington nearly escalated into a larger confrontation? New information has surfaced explaining how Iran compelled US warships to withdraw from the Strait of Hormuz during a tense encounter. According to Press TV, naval units of Iran's elite forces reportedly locked more than 15 cruise missiles onto American vessels. The operation is said to have taken place during a direct maritime standoff between Iran and the United States on April 11th. Further details of this naval engagement were disclosed in a Press TV report published on April 17th. Reports indicate that a total of 16 cruise missiles were targeted at US warships before they eventually pulled back. Among the vessels identified were the USS Michael Murphy and the USS Frank E. Peterson. These ships were reportedly attempting to pass through the Strait of Hormuz during the confrontation. Iranian forces are said to have warned that missile strikes would follow if the US vessels did not change course.
Because I'm ready to open fire on them.
Press TV further claimed that American forces requested a short delay of around 15 minutes during the standoff. Iranian reports also suggested that the US warships communicated with their command structures while facing the threat. The destroyers eventually withdrew after prolonged exchange that reportedly lasted close to an hour. Iranian accounts have suggested that the US naval move may have been timed alongside diplomatic talks in Islamabad. Military-linked sources claimed that the American vessels were only minutes away from potential impact during the encounter. Iran has also alleged that the incident could have been part of a broader attempt to influence negotiations. According to the same reports, the attempted transit through the Strait of Hormuz carried a high risk of escalation.
Because I'm ready to open fire on them.
On April 12th, Iranian state media dismissed the US naval move near Hormuz as a failed propaganda stunt that backfired on Washington. Security sources quoted by Press TV claimed the operation was extremely high risk for the US, hinting that American ships were sailing into a trap. That same day, Iranian outlets released footage they say shows IRGC units issuing stark warnings to nearby US warships. In the clip, aired by Press TV, Iranian voices can be heard ordering American vessels to change course and stay away. "This is the last warning. This is the last warning," Iranian personnel repeat over the radio, driving home the threat. The US ship responded that it is transiting under international law and does not intend any provocation or hostile act. American voices even reference the temporary ceasefire, stressing that both sides are supposed to be de-escalating, not trading threats. Despite that, Iranian forces escalate their tone, ordering the warship to alter course immediately and leave the area. "If you don't obey my order, you will be targeted." Out, an IRGC controller radios, in what sounds like a direct threat to open fire. According to Iranian reports, the destroyers USS Michael Murphy and USS Frank E. Peterson Jr., both Arleigh Burke class, attempted to enter the Strait of Hormuz on April 11th. Press TV claims that Iranian cruise missile batteries locked onto the ships while attack drones circled overhead. The report dramatically alleges the destroyers were only a few minutes away from complete destruction if they had pushed further. Iranian forces supposedly issued a 30-minute ultimatum at the mouth of the Gulf: turn back, or be hit. Press TV insists the US ships immediately retreated once their crews realized cruise missile radars had locked on. Support helicopters reportedly flew overhead as IRGC units ordered all other vessels to stay at least 10 miles clear of the showdown zone. The Iranian account says later radio traffic shows US crews fully complying with IRGC demands and pulling away. The US supercarrier USS George H.W. Bush has reportedly been rerouted the long way around Africa, a move linked directly to the rising threat from Houthi anti-ship weapons. Its strike group is said to have skipped the usual Red Sea transit altogether because of concentrated missile and drone risks along that corridor, according to defense analysts. The Nimitz-class carrier is now operating off the coast of Namibia, slowly making its way toward the Arabian Sea instead of cutting through the Middle East's traditional sea lanes. US planners reportedly rejected the standard Mediterranean Suez-Red Sea route, judging the Bab el-Mandeb choke point too risky for such a high-value target. Houthi anti-ship missiles, one-way attack drones and explosive fast boats have together turned the narrow strait into what many now see as a potential trap for large warships. No U.S. aircraft carrier has sailed through the Bab el-Mandeb since the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower's transit in late 2023, underscoring how the risk calculus has shifted. Commanders reportedly concluded that preserving a $13 billion carrier mattered more than any symbolic show of sailing through, so they chose the safer but slower route around Africa. The Bab el-Mandeb is the narrow passage that links the Red Sea to the Gulf of Aden, making it one of the world's most vital choke points for commercial shipping and energy flows. For decades, US aircraft carriers treated this corridor like a default highway between seas, steaming through as a routine show of presence and confidence. Since 2023, however, Houthi units have repeatedly targeted warships and tankers with anti-ship missiles and one-way attack drones, raising the stakes for any large vessel entering the lane. Explosive-laden fast boats further compress reaction time in the confined waterway, giving large and less agile ships only seconds to react to swarming threats.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.